It's no secret that Tesla has some of the worst depreciation in the entire car market. With the Tesla Model 3 losing more than 50% of its value in just 3 years, the Model Y is just as bad, and a quick search online shows dozens of posts from people who are losing their shirt with their Model Y and Model 3 and who are now severely underwater. And I know that some of you who are watching this video may be thinking that anybody who's complaining about their underwater Tesla is simply just a moron.
Because cars are depreciating assets, and anybody who thinks or expects otherwise is just a dummy.
That really isn't the case. Because as we've talked about a number of times on this channel over the years, while sure, cars do depreciate, and generally speaking, if you buy a new car, you're going to lose money on that car in the form of depreciation, Tesla is actually in a bit of a unique situation due to a number of different factors. Factors that I would argue if you were a Tesla buyer from a few years ago, you could have never predicted that any of this would have happened. Things like Elon Musk and Tesla dropping prices to stroke demand, a slew of bad press for Tesla on the part of Elon Musk, increased competition in the EV space, and yes, of course, the natural depreciation of a car. But due to all of these factors, Teslas are depreciating at a much more significantly rapid rate compared to normal everyday cars, which means that Tesla owners specifically are in a uniquely bad situation. And maybe it goes without saying, or maybe it doesn't, but I actually do feel bad for Tesla owners who purchased a Tesla vehicle a number of years ago thinking that it was a fine financial decision, only to be buried in a vehicle that is now deeply underwater. But there is one specific category of Tesla owner that I do not feel bad for, and that is the Cybertruck owners. Because whenever it comes to the Cybertruck owners are getting slaughtered in depreciation. Cybertrucks went on sale 2 years ago, and the reason why this is important is twofold. One, Tesla is now accepting trade-ins, something that Tesla previously was not accepting for the Cybertruck, and just due to the fact that it's been 2 years since they've been released, and so naturally, people are going to be looking to either sell or trade in their car after a set period of time. And so as time has kind of gone on, more and more people are looking for this option for their Cybertruck, and thus we have more data. Not just for Tesla trade-ins, but also just for people selling their Cybertruck. And so as time has gone on, more and more people have been looking to sell their Cybertruck, and we've been getting more data on how these cars have fared on the open market. And boy, does it not look good. The Cybertruck was originally advertised to be priced at around $60,000. However, when the Cybertruck first rolled out of the Tesla factory, it was the Cyber Beast that hit roads first, which started at just under 100 grand. But there was a lot of people who were paying a lot more for these vehicles. But today, it's a very different story. There are about 47 used Tesla Cybertrucks on Cars.com, and the current state of depreciation may be deceiving by looking at Cars.com because there are plenty of models priced fairly close to their original price point, if not higher. Like this one that's being sold for $109,000, this blue wrapped one being sold for $99,000, or this one being sold for just under 97 grand. And so whenever you look at Cars.com, you may actually be thinking that these cars are selling for pretty damn close to how they were selling a couple of years ago, and that these Tesla owners actually didn't lose that much from MSRP prices that they paid, or in some cases, paid above. But whenever you dig deeper, you can see very clearly that it actually isn't demand that's driving these near MSRP prices, it's delusion. Because many of these Cybertrucks have been sitting on dealership lots for between 90 and 150 days, with some being listed for over 200 days going unsold. So sure, people who are selling their cars on Cars.com may be pricing their cars at a premium price point, but the reality is they aren't selling at these premium prices and they're sitting on dealership lots for an extended period of time. But it gets worse. Because now that Tesla is offering trade-ins for Cybertrucks, people are going to Tesla directly to see what they'll value their trade-in at, and many Tesla owners are being blown away by just how little Tesla's offering them for trade-in values for their Cybertruck. And by blown away, it's not the good kind. There are a number of online reports from Cybertruck owners showing that Tesla is offering them anywhere between $60,000 to about $68,000 on their trucks that have only around 5,000 miles. And one thing that I found interesting is that if you want to see what Tesla is selling their $60,000 Cybertruck trade-ins for, well, you can, because unlike the Tesla models from the 3 to the S, the Cybertruck isn't even featured on Tesla's used vehicle website. So you really can't see what Tesla's selling these used Cybertrucks for because they're not advertising it publicly. And maybe this is due to the fact that they just recently started accepting Cybertruck orders, but I personally believe that it probably has something more to do with the fact that they know that it would be a bad look if they took these Cybertruck trade-ins for 68 grand. And whether they sold them for a premium or sold them for a discounted rate, it wouldn't look good from the perspective of a consumer either way, so they're just leaving it off of their website entirely. And allegedly, there are some reports that Tesla isn't even accepting, or at least is hesitant to accept some trade-ins for the Cybertruck due to unsold inventory of new Cybertrucks, though that's unverified. And this isn't an issue that's only plaguing Tesla trade-ins, though I do think it is a particularly bad look for Tesla specifically, because many companies are offering extremely low trade-in values for the Cybertruck For example, there are reports that Carvana is offering some Cybertruck owners only about 50% of what they originally paid for their truck. And these same companies like Carvana are then going to go sell them for the low to mid 70 grand. Which truthfully, I think that 70 grand price point is probably a more accurate lens as to what the Cybertruck is worth today in 2025, unlike what you see at cars.com, which is closer to like that $90,000 $100,000 mark. This is leaving Cybertruck owners with an insane amount of depreciation that they're having to eat. And while this is a trend that I think is currently getting a lot of spotlight with the Cybertruck specifically because of the fact that Tesla has just begun to take these trade-ins, as I mentioned earlier, this is a trend that we see across Teslas as a whole, not just Cybertrucks. And of course, we've talked about this at length in past videos, specifically in the context to the Model 3 and the Model Y, which are Tesla's most popular vehicles and are also two vehicles that have seen really bad depreciation. But it's also a major problem, particularly with Tesla higher end models like the Model S Plaid, which has a starting MSRP of just under 100 grand. And while the Model S Plaid has been around for longer than the Cybertruck, similar to the Cybertruck, they were originally going for premium prices and they share a similar story today. And you can buy a Model S Plaid for about 50% less than what you can get one for new. The point is, depreciation across Tesla's lineup is absolutely atrocious. But the depreciation of some of Tesla's more niche models, like the Cybertruck or the Plaid, it's even worse. And while I do admit that this is good news if you're someone who's looking to buy a Tesla at a really decent price, because I've said this before in a ton of my videos, but I do think the fact that Tesla has such bad depreciation means that if you're someone who's looking for a great bang for your buck car, I actually do think Tesla's a pretty good option. I owned a Model 3 Performance for about a year, and while it was one of my favorite cars that I've ever owned, I did end up selling it this past April. And so the fact that Teslas have terrible depreciation is great for the buyer, but is absolutely terrible for anybody who owns a Tesla and is wanting to get out of it. And these terrible depreciation rates for Tesla is an even worse look, considering the fact that it wasn't too long ago that Tesla tried to brand purchasing a Tesla vehicle on par with making an investment. And Elon Musk himself claimed that owning this car would be an income generator due to the fact that you can utilize things like autonomous driving and robo-taxis.
Sometimes people wonder, well, how do you go from this big fleet to actually monetizing the fleet in an autonomous situation? For the fleet that is owned by our customers, it will be like an Airbnb thing. You can add or subtract your car to the fleet whenever you want. So you can say, like, I'm going away for a week. At just one tap on your Tesla app, your car gets added to the fleet, and it just makes money for you while you're gone.
A claim that has never come to fruition, and truthfully, I'm skeptical that it ever will. But even these claims aside, before Tesla started dropping their prices, Teslas had historically held their value quite well. However, those days are long gone, and so whatever you do not buy a Tesla new, especially not a Cybertruck. Like always, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, I would love to hear it, so make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.